Okay, so I am going to start with XRP, and I'm going to have a chat about this chart, zoom out, and then I'll zoom in a little bit, yeah? So if you remember, I've been talking about this pattern here being played out, yeah? And every breakdown is this pattern is played out all the way through the bear channel, bear market all the way down, yeah? Except for this one, it changed here. And then we're in a space here where we're at a decision time. So what I've done is I have gotten rid of all the other markings to simplify it, yeah? And I'll map it this way, just relating these three, yeah? So from here, you've got the drop, the lift, and the drop down. So you got the lower low here, yeah? You've got the drop, the lift, and the drop down. You've got the drop, the lift, and the drop down, yeah? So then you have the lift, the higher lift. You got the higher here, you got the higher here. So they're all following the same, yeah? So now this is where it gets very interesting. Is from the top here, you've got a drop, a lift, a drop, and a lift. And then you get capitulation. So you get a drop, you get one final lift here, and then it spills. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where it changes here. So from the top, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's all the same. We got our drops. But now the lift here, like the lift here, you get the lift, and this capitulates and it spills. And this is a lift that turns into a 1, 2 for a pump. So you got where it changes. So now where are we in this pattern, yeah? So on this one, here's the top. We've got our drop, and again, this one it's a big drop. You got the lift, we got the second drop, so we got 1, 2, 3. Here we are for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then this is the decision. Is this a lift for a capitulation, or is it a 1, 2? So now here is we have our 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, this may be it, but I suspect that we might have another lift here, yeah? And I'll show you on the charts on the MAs, yeah? Potentially, although this does look like it's going to spill. But what we're looking for is another lower low here. 1, 2, 3. This is a really big drop here in comparison to the whole price action movement here, yeah? But still, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for 5. Now, on this one, if we just put it from here to the bottom, just the whole play of it, this drop broke the 786. So come all the way back to the 786, even lower, nearly back to 0, before it did a small lift and capitulated. And this one, we're going from bottom, oh that's right, first time, from top to bottom. So from top to the bottom, and again look, 786, even a wick through, same as the last one. So come all the way down here. So now, on this one, here's the top here, is you can see price action, while this is a big drop, excuse me, this second drop is not so big, but you can see on this one, 1, 2, this second drop was quite substantial as well. Bring it down for the 786. We're quite a distance away from the 786. Thanks, Mahela. We're quite a distance away. That final drop to the 786 or lower is a ways away. So one of the things I'm mindful of is that we get a drop down to the 0.5, it turns around, and then it starts to head up. And that could be it done. It completes its 5 drops, and then we have the lift, you know, have a lot of sideways here, and then potentially the pump. and I'll show you why that might be possible. Yeah. So we got to see, is that same level that's here at 48.15, is we might pop up to it now and have a bigger drop, or we might have a shallower drop here, not really break below the 05 very much, and then head up to 48.15. And that's our 5 waves done. Is we get our lift up here, does a bunch of sideways, and then pops up. Okay, and that means we have a bunch of sideways like this. You know, it does a little drop here, and then it pumps. Yeah. So I'll show you that shortly. So what's the point I'm making? Is if we get a drop below, take this out of the way. If we get a drop here below price action, a little bit below, so it breaks it, and then it starts to come back up again and starts to break this high, to me that's a strong indication that we're going for the pump, because we've got our 5 drops. Is we didn't drop to a 786, we didn't break the 0, we hung around the 0.5. Now we're going up to do our 1-2 for a pump. That's what I think is a strong potential there. If we drop down and we do hit the 786, is then the question is, and I've shown you this before. Let me just take this. Let me go back to here. I'm going to put in the 50 SMMA, yeah, and on the daily is here. It is here, yeah. So now on the previous drops, is if it hits down, comes down and does a 786, is you get a retrace back up to the 50 SMA. If it gets a rejection, is we're heading down. So that's what I'd be looking for. If we did get that 786 drop, I would be looking for, when it comes back up, how it behaves around the 50 SMA, and equally how it behaves around the 20 EMA, the white line, and the 55 EMA. So how, if it breaks below these proper and comes back up, a rejection here is indicating a down. So that's very clear. I've been saying that for weeks, yeah. Excuse me. Is part of what might bring that drop down, that big spill, is on the 12-hour. You can see here's the 20, here's the 55. Is the 20 crossing down through the 55 could trigger that bigger spill down, could get that push down. So that's what might bring it down to the 786 range. Yeah, we bring it back down to to 35.4. Both the previous 2 times I've showed is it's broken quite a distance below the 786. So we could even be 35, 34 range. Yeah. So we got to see how this behaves. Yeah. I certainly believe is that it's going to break below here. By how much I don't know. And then that means we have our fifth wave down. So there, that's complete. After that, we're going to have a lift. Now this is the decision maker. Is it a lift and then capitulation, or is it a lift for a 1-2 and then up? So now what I'll be looking for, same here, is look, there's 5 up here and then capitulation. I'll be looking to jump on a short here. Catch that beautiful short. This one is going to be more challenging because it's a V. You won't get the short until down here, yeah. And in some ways, this is an indication. You see, if it comes up like this and it does a V retrace, it's not given time to consolidate for a 1-2. It just gets pulled down. So if you miss the top here, you'll get your short entry in here. And if it is a V shape, that's a really good indication that this is coming down. Where here is, look, the 5th came back up. Look at all this sideways here. And again, it gives you time to get a short in here. Either way, I'll be going in on a short. But I'll be watching that as this comes down, I'll be wanting to see it break below this. If it comes down and does a 786 and looks like it's starting to head back up, again, I'll be jumping in on a long. But for now, the question is what's this going to do right now over the next day or two? Yeah. So now this is where I have this is where I want to show you the MAs. Yeah. And let me just take the drawings out of the way. Yeah. So I'm going to go to, is it the weekly? Weekly I want to go to. Yes. Okay, so look, here's last week's high up here at 48.37, yeah? And then here's the 5 MA turned down. So when the 5 MA on the week turns down, that's pretty significant. Yeah, it cannot be ignored. So I'm going to put a price action here, yeah? Oh, it puts it on the other channels and lines. That's okay. So watch this. This is the weekly. I actually have one there, 14.80. And so look, I'm marking that. But now watch on the 6 day. There's the 5 MA as well, yeah. Here's the 5 day. There's the 5. There's the 4 day has a 55 EMA. The 3 day. 3 day sort of in between, but there's the 5 and 10. Look, all this is fantastic for a spill, yeah. 2 day, there's the 10 MA. Excuse me. There's the 1 day, there's the 20. So now this is where I'm going to make the point that I'm cautious of. When you see an MA, when you see the MA starting to come down like this, but you have one MA that floats above and stays high, normally it's because it's gonna get tested. The price action comes up, and this is for the rejection that it pushes it down. That's why it does this. I see it over and over and over. So when I start going to the 80 an hour, look, there it is. There's the 50 doing it, while the 5, 10, and 20s are heading down. The 50 starts to go off sideways and float. Again, there's the 50 on the 12 hour. There's the 50 on the 10 hour, the 8 hour. When I go down to the 4 hour, it's the 100. But you can still see there's that same pattern going on, yeah? There's the 6 hour. There's the 200 on the 2 hour. And equally, there's the 1 hour. I think that's the 400, yeah? So my point is that, look, I went through all the days from the 6 day all the way down through the days, all the way through the hours. They all have an MA that's floating up here. So it leads me to think, I could be wrong, that we're getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5. We get our final lift up here, 5, and then it starts to come down proper. Could be wrong, because this is a double top here. I could be wrong, and it's just coming down, and this is 5, and then down it comes. What I do believe is that these MAs here, because they're on so many timelines and hours and days, it's going to have a role. So if it doesn't come up, if price action doesn't come up here and hit off it, I think it's going to do it later. So remember I was talking you through I'll put it on put it back on the 12 hour, because that's what we were looking at on the other chart, yeah. So I'll zoom it out here. So remember the pattern down. One, 2, 3, 4. So possibly 4 goes up to 48.18 or so, 30. 4, and then 5, we get a nice push down to the 786 here, around 35 or so. Or, again, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. You know, we get a shallow. And then that's the 5 done. Then we get our lift back up. And here is where we get our potential 1, 1, 2, and then the breakup. So at some point, sorry a sec. So yes, if we get something like this, let's say even down to there, at some point this level here is going to become important. So this may be we get our 5 down, it comes back up to here, and that creates our 1, 2 for a lift up. Okay, so that's one scenario that I'm looking for, or equally, it goes up to it now. We get a lift up here, and then potentially we get our stronger push down, and that will be with the 12 hour, the 20 EMA crossing over the 55 on the 12 hour and giving ourselves a nice dump down, yeah. And then we'll get our lift back up. We'll get our lift back up, and the question is it a lift back up for capitulation, or is it a 1, 2 for the pump? So now, if it did that, remember what I was saying about the SMAs on the daily, the 50 SMA on the daily. So now, this is the 50 SMA in the daily. We've had our 1, 2, 3. Let's say we go to here 4. We get another push through the 50, but again another rejection. And we get another lift, a 1, a 2, and everything bounces off the 50 SMA on the daily, and we go up for the lift. So the 50 SMA in the daily holds, and we're for the pump. Okay, now if that was the case, it would be the pump. Excuse me. It would be the pump for here. It'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, yeah. And I'm gonna put the target around the I'd say around the 70, 71, excuse me, possibly the 70, 77 range. Now, if it does this is still leaving it open to a massive dump. And I'll tell you why. Because of this here, is that if we get a lift like this, we could be in for a massive dump afterwards. This is literally where we could be, yeah. And then a much longer space to range to head on up, yeah. So this is literally where we could be. Is where we're here, and we've got this lift here. So look, have we bottomed out? The question here. Look at this move here. 1, 2 here. Look at this. 1, 2 here. Sideways. We've got a lift, and the question is, have we bottomed out of it? We get this massive pump. You know, everybody thinks we're going to the moon, and then it turns around and we get pulled right down. So we could still very much be in that zone, yeah. And then we have the consolidation. The other thought is that we've already had this, and we're here. Here's the bottom, and we're here. But this is a double top, a 1, 2 for consolidation for a pump. Is if this pumps up now, is it certainly starting to look like we're more here than we are here, yeah. So that's something to be aware of, yeah. So as I was saying, is one situation is price action bounces on the 50 SMA and then goes up. The other one is price action breaks below the 50 SMA, comes back up, gets rejected off the 50 SMA, and then down it comes. So I think it's either one of those. It's either one of those. So this range here of 48.50 and 48.30, this is going to play a role. This is going to play a role, I believe, in price action hitting it and getting a rejection. Most likely now, as much as it looks very dumpy, we might get a snap up to it. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. Yeah. So that's what I'm watching for. Yeah. And at the moment you can see the range being played here, and it's in the middle. It dropped. It came back up to the center line here. Look on the daily. It's 3 days of rejection on the 20 EMA. 3 solid days of rejection on the 20 EMA, and again it does look like it's coming down, but we'll see. We'll still see if we're going to get one of these nasty wicks before it starts to come down again. Yeah, so I don't know. What else am I looking at? Is a bunch of weeks turned today. 7 week turned. So the 7 week turned today. So you can see this one, nice pump. You can see the 5 down here. So again, potentially for support, when it gets down like this, for support. And that is at 39.62. So again, do you remember I said that other drop down? That could be hitting around the 40 mark. That's our 5 down. We get a 1, 2, and then up we go. So that's an argument for the pump. And again, there's 62, 68 is the Bollinger Band here. Yeah. Here's the 6 week turned as well. Actually, I didn't mention the VWAP on the 7. See the VWAP, the yellow line here on the 7 again. Could be resistance to bounce to here and then to take it up. I'm just telling the general story. Yeah, is the 6 week again? There's the VWAP. There's the 5. Look on the 5 on the 5 and the 6 week is getting to turn that a little bit more. So it's not a straight line. It's starting to turn. So again, there could be good support around 39.54. You know, and then the bounce up. And there's a 60, 67 here. So possibly a push through to the early 70s, a wick through. Excuse me. The 5 week didn't turn, but you can see the support on the 5 week on the 5 MA here. Again, that's at 40 at the moment. Yeah, the Bollinger Band there. There's the look at that. See on the 5 week. Look how telling that is. See the 20 SMA on the 5 week. Is we get a bounce here and we go up to 71, 72. Remember I said about MAs that like to catch things? This gets a rejection here and then this could push us. Well, that's 12 cent. That's pretty deep. It goes push us down, you know. I'm not saying 12 cent. The 3 week turned last night as well. And again, look at the because it's gone on for 3 weeks, the VWAP is down. But here, look, you have the 5 and 10 around the 40, 41 mark, 40 and a half mark. So again, it looks like, again, there's a bit of support here. And then the lift up, there's the 20 at 63, there's the Bollinger at 80. Then the 2 week. Again, the 2 week gets a bit more interesting because look how much rejection is here from the I think that's the, I'm just checking that is, yes, the 50 SMA, the 20 EMA, the 20 MA, the 55 EMA. So look how much rejection, and that's the last 6 weeks. it's topped out here and just getting pushed down, and here's the 5 coming up. Look, there's the support, here's the 5 now. While the VWAP is down, the 5 is up. Now look below, and there's the 10 at 40.45. There's the medial line. So often you'll see the medial line here. Price action when it gets above the medial line, it goes to the Bollinger. Is generally you get a back test to the medial line. If the medial line holds, then you're going to get the lift up. If it capitulates, so then you're heading back down to the bottom of the Bollinger again, and that's at 25.82. So it looks like 39.50 is price action is going to head down here. And how it behaves here, if it breaks below and does the full 786, the back test here is giving us an indication we're heading down to at least 25.26, possibly a wick through for a little bit more, yeah. So you can see the play of it on the 2 week. But if it bounces off this, it looks like we're going to head up, break through the Bollinger and head up to the 50 at least at 70.65. So it looks like the 40 mark is our decision maker. And again, here's the weekly, and as I said, it's significant that the 5 on the weekly turned down, because it's the 5 MA in the weekly. It's a lot, you know. It's a big deal for that to do it. You can see the rejections here. So there's the VWAP battling. The VWAP seems to want to keep price action at a level, and here's the 5 pushing down. So if you come down to the 20 here is at 38.73. The medial line is 41.27. So again, remember 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 somewhere. Remember saying to you, it could be a shallow one. Doesn't have to go all the way down. 5 and then up for our 1, 2, and then potentially up. Unless this capitulates and we get this. You get what I'm saying. So that's the weekly. I don't want to keep going on. I'll be here all day. There's the 6 day is doing. Look, there's the 5 coming over on the 6 day. Yeah. Now this turned on the 22nd. That was 2 days ago. So this is 4 more days to go where the 5 is here. Yeah. I do think there's probably going to be a push up to here, as part of a lift and maybe a push down. Yeah. Or even the push to here. Then there's the 1, 2, and a potential lift. Yeah. Let me just flick through the 5s. Okay, and again, look, there's the battle. There's the 10 on the 5 day holding it up. And here's these guys coming down. I'll just go to there's so much to say. And I'm trying to skip past stuff for time, but I'm looking at the 4 hour turn. Look at the 5 on the 4 day, on the 4 day. And it looks potentially like the 10 on the 4 day could be resistance as well. And they're all indications of a pretty strong push down. It could just come to here, but you know, it could come all the way down to the Bollinger here, because they're strong indications of a push down, of a deeper push down. You know, so when you start to look at this on the 3 day, look at the 5 and the 10 coming down here. Again, strong indications of a much bigger push down. Yeah. We'll have to see, but you can see here's the 2 day, and again, as the form comes, look at the 5, the 10 coming over. Look at the 20. The 20 is getting broken. The 5's after breaking the 20 plus price action. Here's the 20 EMA. The white line is holding at the moment on the 2 day. This is a lot of pressure coming down for a push down. Yeah. And again, there's the VWAP actually down on the daily. That wasn't down at the start of the day. It was up. Now it's after coming down. Yeah. And again, here's the 20 EMA in the daily is rejection, and now here's the 10 actively starting to push at the same time. Yeah. So we could be getting our spill here. But look, here's this guy up here. What's he here for? That's what I'm asking myself. Why are there so many MAs up at 48? 15, 48, 20, so many. So Okay, so now if I just zoom in to more immediate, let's do the 4 hour, is the double top here has been a strong rejection. The MAs are in a pretty good position here for continuation down. Still hasn't broken this bottom though. See this here is for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is still hasn't broken this. So we'll see. Let's see if I go into the 1 hour. What time is it? 12 o'clock. The 3 hour just turned. So let's do the. Actually, that means the 9 hour turned. So look at the 9. The 9 hour just turned 40 minutes ago. And again, look at the 5. The 5 taking a nice sharp turn here. But that was a pretty big move on the 9 hour. So we may again get this lift back up. It's so a little bit up in the air at the moment, yeah. But the ranges that I've been showing you, they're very clear. It's just here, this here right now, it's like, are you going up? Are you going down? Are you going to break below here? It's like, this is where it's like, come on, what are you going to do? Because once it breaks below this, again, it demonstrates it's holding form. So is it going to be a deep one or a shallow one? And then after that, we've got, I believe, one more up and down. And then we have our breakout. We have our big move. Okay, so look, there's the 3 hour. And as much as the 5 is coming down here, there's these MAs here in the way. So again, this might lift. This might need to just catch a breath. Here's the 2. Here's the 1. You see the 1 here. Look at the 5 is a little bit on its own. I know the 10 is coming down, but it's been on its own down here for quite a while. Okay, let's have a look at the stock, and I'm gonna zoom out. These are the weeklies, or the dailies. My apologies. This is the weekly. So sorry, my apologies again. This is the monthly. So look, it's bottomed out. The monthly is here, yeah. So, but now this can stay down here for months. So, but you can see that we're very close to the one. Everybody knows that. See the bottom right on this second here. This is the weekly. So the weekly stock here is very close to coming back in from the overbought. And just to give you an idea, generally, is look at the bottom here. The bottom here is June 22. The top here is October 22. So June, July, August, September, October is 4 to 5 months from bottom to top. See here, the top here that was April 22. So April to June, April, May, and again middle of June. So 2.5 months to get down, 4 to get up. Is this one here, or the bottom here? The bottom is January, so late January to early April. So February, March, 2 months to get up. Is this one here is September 21 to January. So late September, October, November, December, the end of January, 4 months. So look, 4 months, 2 months, 2 months, 4 months. So this is what we're looking at when the weekly stock is at the top and it needs to come back down to the bottom. It could be anything from a 2 month to a 4 month journey. General, I'm just doing a small back test here, but you get the idea, yeah? Is this one here, bottom second on the left, this one here, you see this in the blue box. This is the 6 day. So the 6 day is due to start coming down. This is the 5 day, the next one on the left. Top right is the 4 day. 4 day is just entered back from the oversold. So again, this wants to do a journey down. The second on the top there on the right is the 3 day. Again, it's back in. So I'm showing you the MA is the spill. Is the second on the left there is, this is the 2 day. So look, the 2 day is bottomed out. So, excuse me. this will need to find its way up. But again, like all of them, it can stay there for quite a while. And then this is the 1 day. The 1 day is getting a little bit of a lift. So now at some point the 1 day will need to do a reset. So this could give us our pump. This 1 day, this and the 2 day could give us our pump to 71. We get that big pump up, 71. And then do you see all these guys? All these guys kick in and we get a massive pull down where we're getting pulled down for that deeper low. That is possible, yeah. Equally is it doesn't do a massive pump. The 1 day can do a lift like this, turn around, and we can get a shallower pull down. And you go, okay, that's fine, a shallower pull down. What about all these guys? What about all these dailies and the weekly? Is all these guys need to come back down to the bottom, and it's gonna be a substantial move for them to get all the way back to the bottom, especially the weekly. So it's hard to imagine, even if we do get a pump now, it's hard to imagine we're not going to get a big pull down. So now here is the dailies. So bottom right is literally the daily. Or sorry, these are the hourlies. Sorry, is bottom right. There's the daily. Now fig to the 12-hour. There's the 12-hour coming back to the top again, which again is suggesting that it's ready to do a little pull down. And again, that's what I was trying to say about the daily. The daily can come up like this, and then we could get our pull down for our 786. So we can get a pull down for 786, and the 12-hour would support that. When the 12-hour turns, we get our 786. And then equally, if I go to the 8-hour, 8-hour is starting to come back down. The 6-hour is starting to come back down. And then this one here, here's the 4-hour. This one is the 3-hour, the 2-hour. You can see them all come back down. The 1-hour is bottomed out. Here's the half-hour coming up, and 15-minute and the 5-minute. But you get the idea, yeah. So the dailies need a big drop as well as the weekly. Is the hourlies are all setting up to come down. So the hourlies look like we might get it. We might get that 786. It's open to it. The stocks are saying it's open to a bigger push. Yeah. So we got to see. We got to see. That's what I'm watching. Yeah. Is there anything else I want to say? Not really. Not really. Let's just look at now. Where's the opportunity for a trade? This is the one I want to play. I'll put it on the hourly. Is the last top is this, and potentially we got to see where this bottoms out. This bottoms out and starts to come back up. That will set up a possible. Again, I'm doing an if here, yeah. Is if this actually comes up and starts to get a bit of breadth, and this is the top, I'll be looking for a bit of a consolidation phase here. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll be looking for a little bit of a consolidation phase here. This is a bit of a V shape drop at the moment, so this might not come back up. If it does come back up past the 05, but I'll deal with that then if that happens, yeah. But at the moment, I'm looking at a potential coming back up to a 702. I'm looking for a short entry there, yeah. And again, I'd be super cautious that there isn't going to be possibly another push up to the 48 range or so, yeah. So I'm just a bit cautious that might happen now, yeah. But the double top here is not so easy to break. So so again, at the moment, I'm more inclined to look for a short here, yeah. So here's this drop. Let's see where this comes back up to, and that's really what I'm looking for, yeah. Yeah. If I'll put that back on. So I'll be looking for a 702 entry point here with a stop loss just above the high here. Yeah. If, however, it only comes back up and does an 05 and starts to do this, what happens is that generally it starts to do a bit of a consolidation phase here. So if I see it just hitting an 05 and coming back down again, is what I'll do is I'll put the fibs on this range, and it'll come back down here, and then I reckon it's going to come back up for another 702 before it heads down. So if it's only a shallow retrace here, I'll put the fibs on this, and again I'll put my stop loss just above this level here. And I'll see if it's going to go down is I'll catch a beautiful position either way, most likely, with a stop loss protection. So if it does want to break and blast up through, my stop loss protects me. So that's what I'm looking at, yeah. So if I give you two potential price actions here for entry, is I'm looking at, if it's a shallow one, I'm looking at about a 45.95 entry. If it does a deeper consolidation retrace, I'll be looking more to a 46.64. And again, it looks like it's going to come up, but you know, it's, yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It looks as spilly as hell as well, you know. But that's what I'm watching for. And again, if it comes up and it starts breaking above this, I reckon it's going to top out here. And again, I'll be looking for the same entry point here for a short, yeah. And then to be really honest with you, if it does well, I don't know. How far is this going to go? I don't know. Like, is it going to do the deeper one? Is it going to go to the 786 like the other times? Or is it going to do that shallower one that I was talking about? And then that shallower drop would be somewhere down around here. Okay. So again, remember the 1-2 for the bigger move. The 1-2 for the bigger move this is the one. So if that's the case, then this here won't break this. Won't break below. Now you can have a wick through, but not a body through. So you might get a wick through to this line here, but not a body through, and it holds the form of the validation of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5 up. And it will be this channel here where you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then potentially the bounce up. You get the breakout of the channel, you get the back test, and then you get the pump up. So that fits in. That fits in as well, yeah. So that's what I'm watching for, and that's what I'm watching for. So if I was looking for a target on this short, I would probably be looking to put it at around 41.20. I know it says 40.70 there, but I'd be mindful that this here is 41.09, so 41.20, 41.30, just in case price action doesn't want to actually break this. Maybe even 41.50 to be really proper about it. Yeah. So that's it. I know I went on today, but again, there's so much to talk about at the moment. There's so much going on, and you see the play of things, the way it's playing out. And so we have very clear ranges with regards what price action does now and what it's going to tell us. So this is the last thing I'm going to say. A recap on the bigger potential here. We need to have one more drop below this to complete the 5 down, wherever it happens to go. If it goes shallow, that is a strong indication of a 1-2 for a breakup. Okay. If it goes deep, and then that pump up could be setting us up for a much bigger one, but that's another day's conversation. If we have that deeper breakdown, we get this beautiful spill down. Is everybody screaming that we're going for a dump. And we may be, because we may get a back test of the 41 or so, and then the spill down. You know, or everybody becomes super bearish. You get the back test to here, you get a 1-2, everybody's expecting to dump, turns around, and then we get our pump up. So what happens after this is the next lift. What this does is a capitulation or is a consolidation for a lift. That's the question. That's what we're watching for, yeah? Okay, so listen, enjoy the rest of your day.